Okay, so I wanted to do this show. It's the Ask Ryu show, where you guys ask questions on Twitch, via email, Twitter, forums, wherever. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. Felt pretty good when I got up this morning. Haven't really finished my coffee yet. And real quick summary of what I just did. I recorded a 10-minute long show where I answered 5 or 6 questions. Turns out I was muted the entire time. So when I went to listen to the video before I was going to do some editing, I was like, there's no audio, and I totally didn't record any of that. So we're going to do it all over again. I think, and I'm going to confirm real quickly, that this is being recorded as I stream it, which that does appear to be the case. Thank you, Jeebus. And so I'm just going to jump back to the first question that I wanted to answer, which came in from Sam via email. What is the best way to stand out as an individual player? Intentions being to get noticed by better players, better teams, etc. If you guys follow me in the way that I approach the game, it's very, very team-centric. It's not stats-driven. That being said, I have always felt the best way to stand out as an individual player, especially in North America, but I think it works in Europe and anywhere else on the globe as well, is to pick up the op and become a primary op. And the reason for that is you have less competition. There's one primary op per team. If you have 100 teams, there's 100 ops, 400 riflers. I think it lends itself to showing up well statistically. Again, not something I particularly care about, but if you're looking to get noticed individually and that's the way you're going to go about it, it certainly doesn't hurt. It works very well in pugs. Again, another stats thing I don't care about, but you might. And it also lends itself to making really flashy plays. Very, very flashy plays. It has huge impact potential. I think when you look at I think it's easier to learn the op at a basic point, click, flick muscle memory level than it is rifles, because the rifles are different on each. Usually there's a FAMAS and an M4, there's a Galil and an AK. It's a little bit different, harder to learn. You have to do one thing on one side, one thing on another side. And the op, I think, is a good thing to learn. The muscle memory is great to pick up. You can deathmatch, you can hit those flick shots, and then it's going to be positioning. You usually have people supporting you as an opper. Example being, if you're an op and you're holding catwalk on Dust 2 and you're at the pipe, you kind of hold that crack. As you shoot, somebody usually flashes for you so you can get out. So you have the support of your teammates combined with all those other things, right? Like the impact fragging capability, the flashiness of using the op, the impact that it usually makes, the stats that it helps drive, the support of your teammate. You have, a fifth of the competition. I think that's the best way to go about it. People hate that answer, especially if they op. People hate my opinion on the op relative to my opinion on rifles and stuff. But I think that is probably the best way to stand out individually and on a team. So if you're willing to do it, that would be the best way to go. Now, another question that I answered on video when the video wasn't freaking recording my voice. This is a question from Wobbs, came in on the forums, and he asked me if I thought CSGO has any longevity to it, or if it's going to die quickly like 1.6 in Source. I don't think 1.6 died quickly. I felt like it was a decade. That game survived so freaking long. And, CSS kind of interrupted it a little bit, split the community for a while. Then there was CGS and that whole fiasco. And then 1.6 was still there. So I don't feel like 1.6 died quickly. Source definitely kind of was like, beep, and then it was kind of like gone. And I hate to say that as somebody that played, and competed in Source. But it's kind of the reality. I think CSGO has a lot of longevity. There's a built-in recurring revenue system that Valve has in the game. We're seeing viewership in the millions. The competitiveness of the game is at an all-time high. When you looked at those groups for this most recent major in Romania, it was like, wow, I'm really not sure who's getting out of any of these groups. And the teams you thought weren't were the teams that actually did. So it was super, super competitive time for the game. I feel like it's going to be here for years. Now, Valve can certainly disrupt that, and they can release CSGO 2 and pull the whole split the community in half thing again. Hopefully they don't do that. But I feel like this game's going to be there for a while. What was the other question that I answered off the forums? What are my plans for CSGO? Is it to continue to coach enemy? I came in from Gushing Grannies on the ESCA forums. That's the plan right now. I know the people that watch the stream know that this is a full-time thing for me right now. That is the plan. I feel like we made tremendous strides, especially in the latter half of the season. Early in the season when we played at Liquid or CLG or an LG, wasn't really good. Like we were getting beat pretty bad, like 16-3s, 16-4s. We played CLG at LAN. We really, we had one good map where it could have been way better than it was, and we still got kind of bodied up really bad. But then looking at the past couple nights, like we beaten Cloud9 twice this season. We should have beaten Liquid, and we should have beaten LG last night. Not could have, should have. We've made some really bad mistakes that are small, but they nag us. And if we fix those, I felt like we could have taken those maps, and those are tier 1 teams. So, I feel like the progress we've made as a team has been really good. And I feel like I can be doing more as a coach. I actually have a couple side projects that are kind of under wraps right now that hopefully continue to make some progress, and that I think will help in the coaching arena for me. And that's the plan right now. So, yeah. Was another question that I had answered. And I'm trying to remember if there was another question that I answered, but I'm going to go ahead and take a question from the Twitch chat. Posted a bit about the roster changes for Europe. Can you share your thoughts about them, such as Flusha as IGL? It's a good question. That came in from FKNFATAL, Fatal. I think Flusha has IGL'd before, and he's IGL'd for Fnatic. It seemed like since it had been a 2-year anniversary, that was the end of Pronax's contract. They've been slumping a little bit. Surprised at how quickly they decided to make changes, but usually making the decision quickly instead of dragging it out tends to be better in the longer run because you have more time with the updated roster. I think Dennis is a better fragger than Pronax. If Flusha doesn't mind the role of IGL full time for lengths of time, I think that team's probably going to be just as good or better if they keep all the other elements of the team the same. The chemistry that they had, they have their hero plays when they need them. They have their consistent stars show up consistently. I definitely feel like Dennis is a better just pure fragger than Pronax was. The other impact that I'm hoping to see is that we get Pronax possibly to NA, maybe to coach a team or short-term IGL a team. So I think that he would bring a ton of knowledge and experience that maybe we didn't see from some other European players that we were hoping to see. And I think the dollars would be there. I think a team will pay a lot of money for Pronax. So for Fnatic, I think they're going to be better. I think all those teams got better. The one I'm not sure about is Dignitas because I just haven't really followed some of the players that they added there. But I do think that G2 is going to be a strong team for a while if they continue to play at the level they have, even without Dennis. And then I think Fnatic's going to be pretty strong also. It's a good question. Appreciate that question coming in. I got a question on Twitter from Diane. Why are you so awesome? Diane, that is a great question. And I think you know why. Next question. Thoughts on Swag playing for C9 at the RGN LAN? I think it's really bad for us because Swag is insane and Swag on LAN is insaner, which I don't even know that's a word. And I don't think it means anything that people are reading into. Sean's going to a wedding that weekend. He's playing the iBuyPower event before it, and he's playing the IEM event after it. I think that's a little bit because he's not allowed to play some events. Swag is not allowed to play some events, but he can play the RGN one. And since Sean had a wedding, they're like, hey, he's already on the roster, kind of. Let him play. Might also be maybe a tryout for when if he gets unbanned, to give him a little bit of time to show off a little bit. I think he's going to play. It wouldn't surprise me if Cloud9 dominates that event on the back of Swag. It really wouldn't, because I think that he is that good, and that's kind of bad for us having to attend that event. It's a good question. What I don't think it means that they've been told by Valve they're getting unbanned and they're going to cut Sean. People are reading way too much into that. I'm not one of them. I think it is what it is. Sean's going to a wedding, can't make that event. It's not a huge important event for Cloud9. It is an event that they're going to be able to attend because they're going to iBuyPower anyway. So I think that it's just a simple solution that kind of fell into their lap. And if Swag's allowed to play it, Swag's going to play it. So you go. So I think what I'm going to do is call that a wrap on episode 1 of the Ask Ryu show. I'm going to continue this. So if you guys have any questions, put them in chat, put them on my email, ryu@ryugaming.com. Use the hashtag I have in the title of this stream. hashtag on Twitter, Ask Ryu, and I'm going to take the questions that I get the most frequently or the best questions that I get. I'm going to try my best to answer them. I would love for this to be regular content that I put out. I've been really bad about keeping up to date with some of the videos and stuff that I wanted to do. So I'm hoping that I can do this on a regular basis, and your participation obviously helps make that a reality. So with that, I'm going to end this. I'm going to continue the stream, but I'm going to end this episode. And hopefully I did this right. I've got the network share. I should be able to copy this, maybe throw some editing on top, and go from there.